Hello, everyone. It is now 5 minutes after 3, and we're going to get started. I know that there are some folks that are still joining, but we would like to get the webinar kicked off for today. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Introduction to Disputes Management. My name is Rose Kiley, and I am the Senior Product Manager here at Global Payments that is responsible for the Smart Dispute Manager application and now the new disputes management tool that I will be sharing with you today. So let's get started here. So what I'll be showcasing today is our new dispute management tool that is replacing Smart Dispute Manager, which you refer to as SDM. And I'll be sharing with you all the new features and functionality that's available. Before we get started, I'd like to call your attention to the questions panel. It's located on the right-hand side of the screen. And during the webinar, you'll be placed on mute. However, you have the ability to ask questions using the questions section of the panel. We'll be able to respond to your questions in real time. I have a couple of colleagues with me today that will be answering your questions. So for today, the agenda is we'll be sharing with you a product overview, where we are and where we're going. So that'll just be a quick overview of SDM. And then, of course, we'll be digging deeper into the new disputes management tool. I will also share with you a short product demo of the new tool, and then a detailed review of all the new key features and functions of the new dispute management application. So let's get started for the product overview. So what I'm planning on doing is starting with a quick review of the Smart Dispute Manager, SDM, and that's where we are. So that's the current tool that most of you are familiar with and using today. And then we're going to do a review of the new disputes management tool, which is where we're going. So what I'd like to do is really just look at your current experience between the two applications, how you will view and manage your disputes in SDM, how you're doing that today, and then how you'll manage your disputes from within the new tool by making it easier and more efficient. So we'll get started with Smart Dispute Manager. So again, most of you should be familiar with this screen. And SDM offers you the ability to search for a case by entering a specific data element. You need at least a merchant number, a case number, the case ID if you have that, in order to perform your search. You also are able to filter by a case type and then search for those cases. But actually, if you don't have that information today, you would need then to move to the cases section. So you can see in here that you either have to enter your hierarchy information, or you'll have to enter in a merchant number and then filter by the case status, which would be whether it's merchant response needed, pending internal review, or closed. You also have the ability to do some different filtering by the case type and then view all the cases to narrow your search. So again, a little bit of work here that you need to do to find the information. And if you do have all the information that you need, then you will need to then do the case search, and then you would see your results. So when you get your results, you have a lot of information here that's useful. However, there's some missing important information. So you don't see the reason code. You don't have a description of the reason code. You don't know what the due date is here. You just see a lot of information related to your search. And there's really no additional insight to determine the next steps and how you can respond unless you actually drill deeper into the case. So again, a lot of good information here in searching for the information, but that's really the first beginning that's the first step that you need to do in Smart Dispute Manager is really search and look for all the cases. And then the question is, what do you need to do with those cases? So once you perform your search, you'll need to drill down deeper into the case, looking at the case detail landing page. So again, you do have more information here, and you do have specific information related to the transaction. You can also see the attachments. But it really doesn't give you a lot of information about the case in generally, what you need to do with it, how you need to respond, what the reason code is. But of course, you can respond. You can upload documents, and you have to choose a file. And then you have to either initiate the reversal, which would be challenging the case if, in fact, you're going to be uploading documents, or fulfilling a retrieval. And then you can accept the chargeback liability as well as accepting liability for the retrieval. So you need to go through this response process. You'll have to do the same for the dispute management system, but we've structured it differently so that you're able to efficiently look at the cases and determine what you need to do next. So really, although SDM has provided you the ability to manage and respond to disputes online, we have created a simpler, efficient tool really to help you sort through your day-to-day details in processing a dispute. So now what I'd like to do is share with you a demo or preview for the tool.
How you handle your customers' disputes matters, and it may surprise you to learn that these interactions can be an unexpected opportunity to demonstrate excellent service and grow loyalty with your customers. Our easy-to-use online disputes management tool can help you resolve chargebacks as quickly as possible. It provides everything you need to manage disputed transactions, along with actionable insights that help you maximize efficiency. And we're going to show you how across 7 areas: Dashboard, My Work Queue, Customizable Views, Reason Code Advisor, View Case Detail, Uploading Documents and Case Notes, and Search. Our dashboard offers an intuitive, at-a-glance view of your dispute activity using graphical representations broken down by card brand, reason code, bank identification numbers, and more. My Work Queue helps organize and prioritize your disputes activity. You can create and save filters, export data, perform searches, and much more. We know it can be difficult to manage disputes along with managing your day-to-day business, so we're here to help. You can take action simply and efficiently by using our Quick Action button within My Work Queue. There, you'll find everything you need in just a few clicks. You can easily sort and organize information to suit your needs by customizing your view of the data. The Reason Code Advisor provides support and best practices from the card brands, including reason code descriptions, best practices on how to avoid disputes, how to defend disputes, and guidance on documentation needed for a response. Dive deeper into additional detail about a dispute, including access to all associated documents to determine how you would like to respond. You will find a summary of the transaction along with dispute data, related transaction flow, and a probability score of winning the dispute to help you prioritize your work and make more informed decisions. When it's time to take action, you can simply and easily upload your supporting documentation. In addition, if you would like to include further explanation to resolve your dispute, you can also leave case notes. Looking for a specific dispute case or have limited data? Simply use the case search to find what you're looking for. You can search by various data elements such as card type, reason code, or merchant number. Or you can also perform a wildcard search to support a lookup with limited data. We designed disputes management for merchants of all sizes to help streamline dispute workflows and improve business efficiency. Considered over the long term, managing disputes efficiently can translate into stronger loyalty for future purchases, not to mention a boost to your brand reputation for being responsive and solution-oriented. To experience this online service tool for yourself, sign up or log in today.
Okay, well, I'm hoping that everybody was able to see that demo and was able to see what's to come. So we hope you found it helpful and informative. So now let's take a deeper look at dispute management. Okay, so what we've done here is we've built a cloud-based tool with a new interface with enhanced features to support case processing in your customized view. You will find similarities between the dispute tool and Merchant Portal. Much of the common features have been incorporated into disputes to provide a better user experience. So you are going to see some things here that you'll find similar to what you're used to in Merchant Portal. In addition, we've built the new disputes tool with direct input from our clients. So over the course of many months, we have held extensive usability sessions to help shape what you'll see today. Really just creating exactly what, as a client, that you want to see to help you make dispute processing more simple and efficient. So really, we went and talked to a lot of folks about what is needed to support you and your dispute processing. So where we are now, so right now, you're taking a look at the dispute management tool and the My Work Queue. So the My Work Queue provides a list of all cases that you'll need to take actions with. We also provide a high-level view of the most important information that you will need in order to take the next step. So you'll notice here in the My Work Queue, we'll default columns with information that will be useful to take an action. So you're going to see things like case type, case number, your card number, the brand, reason code, case amount, due date, and case status. The due date is important because that provides you insight to how long you have to action the case. The reason code is important as well, so you can see what type of dispute this is based on the reason code. And we'll talk a little bit more about reason codes and the new features and functionalities that we have built into the tool to help you support processing a case. And then you'll also see something called the case status. So you should be familiar with this in terms of merchant response needed. And this is really just telling you these are only cases in the queue that we need for you to take an action with. So again, this is really probably one of the more important screens that you will see, and it is the default screen as you log into the dispute management system to help you with supporting your cases. You'll also see that we have a new case status called Request More Information. So this is new, and this is when you've already taken an action such as fulfill a retrieval, or you've challenged a chargeback, and the dispute analyst begins to work the case. But for some reason, we need more information. It could be that the information that you've uploaded is ineligible, or maybe that you didn't upload enough information in support of the reason code, especially if you're challenging a chargeback. We might need some more information from you. So if we do, we will send you a message through the system that you will see in the My Work Queue to say that we need more information. And in addition, the analyst could also leave you a case note, and we'll talk a little bit about that further, and leaving you some notes and letting you know exactly what needs to happen. You'll also notice that we've got some filters here, and we've got the columns and export functions. And again, I'll provide more detail around these sections, but this should be familiar to you as this is the same features and functions that we have within Merchant Portal. So next, I had mentioned about listening to our customers. So we did do a lot of work here as it relates to building the tool by having sessions, feedback sessions, with a number of folks that are on the call today to talk about what it is that would help you organize more efficiently, process your disputes, and really understanding what you need to do with a particular dispute. So we created a system that helps you in case processing. It's a user-centered design. We now have queues. So under the My Work queue, which we just talked about, provides a high-level insight of all the cases that you need to take an action with. Queues are new as compared to SCM, and you can see that we have 6 queues that will be explained later as we walk through the presentation. We also have the case detail landing page, which is the middle screenshot here, that contains 3 overview sections that support all of the details needed to help you determine your response. We have a dispute overview section. We have a transaction overview section with details associated to the transaction, such as auth and settlement information. And then we've also have a new area called Related Transaction Flow, which gives you really just a high-level summary of the dispute lifecycle. So it shows you your auth, deposit, retrieval, chargeback, whether it's been represented or if it moved into an exception like an arbitration or compliance. And lastly, we built out a dispute dashboard. And this is actually a default page when you access the disputes tool and provides you a snapshot of your dispute activity, and you can update the frequency on which data you want to see in terms of the date. So you can do last week, last year, last month, whatever frequency that you'd like to see the data. And because we built this tool with you in mind and feedback from our clients, the new tool can answer questions like, how do I know the status of a case, which we talked about the case status on the My Work queues. How do I challenge cases, which we'll be laying out for you a step process to help you challenge cases. And then what does the reason code mean? A description, and we also have an advisor that is going to support your best practices, again, which we'll talk about further within the presentation. So let's begin with a deeper dive into the product, including the new features and functions. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about reporting and how reporting has somewhat changed, not a lot, but somewhat changed. And I want to share those changes with you here. So, so a couple things for accessing dispute management through the application drawer. So you're going to use your current credentials. So the same credentials, your email address and password when you log into Merchant Portal. You're going to use that same information. However, you're going to navigate over to the application drawer once you're in Merchant Portal. You're going to hit the application drawer, and you're going to see 3 icons. You're going to see reporting. You're going to see the dispute management icon, which is the new tool, which is the new dispute management tool. And then you're also going to see SCM. So from a migration standpoint, you will be required to access all your in-flight cases. So that would be open cases that you have not actioned or closed yet on SCM. So you'll need to go into SCM to look at cases that are in flight. And based on your migration date, and I'll talk about that a little bit more towards the end of the presentation, you will need to then access the new disputes management tool to see all your new cases. And your new cases will move to the new tool on your migration date. So we anticipate that this will be temporary until all the new cases are on the new tool, so until all your cases have moved into dispute management, and we are going to handle the migration on your behalf. So all the current roles and permissions that you have today will be migrated by user within your organization, and you will then have access to dispute management. So on your migration date, you will get an email from us when you've actually been migrated. You are going to use your current credentials to get into Merchant Portal, email address and password, to navigate over to the new tool, as well as SDM, which you should be familiar with today. You're going to hit the application drawer, which is in the upper right-hand corner. And once you do that and you have received notification that you've migrated, you will see the new icon along with the SDM icon. You will continue to access SDM for all your in-flight cases, and on your migration date, all your new cases will move to dispute management. So dispute management. So what does dispute management provide you? So you'll be able to view and manage and respond to your dispute. You'll be able to search. You'll be able to upload documents. You'll be able to export reports just like in SDM. However, we have new features such as a probability score, help tips, and more. So again, we'll provide you with search capabilities. You can respond to your disputes as soon as they're posted. Using the online tool, as you know, provides you quick access to your disputes, and they'll be posted in near real time so you can respond quickly and efficiently. So as soon as we get the dispute, it will be available to you in the online tool. You can attach supporting cases, supporting information of your chances of winning a case, and then you have export capabilities into CSV and PDF. So in the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about some of the new features and some of the updates that we made to the common features. So let's have a deeper dive into the features. So this is really giving you a detailed review of all the changes within the new tool and what's changed. So a couple things about the 3 prongs for dispute management. So of course, as part of the integrated experience, we're going to offer you a disputes management tool that gives you case management, right? So you're able to look at the cases. You'll be able to respond to the cases based on the card brand rules and the reason codes. Now, none of this information has changed. The dispute process is still the same. We still have to adhere to the rules and regulations of the card brands. So the rules haven't changed, nor the reason codes. However, we worked very hard on this application to make sure that we can help you manage those cases more efficient and simple. So you can see that we have some enhanced capabilities. We've talked about the dashboard, the reason code advisor, the probability score. We talked about the introduction of queue management now. We also have something called case event history, and then help tips. So again, key features that have not changed. You'll still be able to search. There's a case flow for you to take actions. You can upload documentation. We have filters. You have the ability to customize your screen, and then we have something called the case timeline. In the middle section here, we still offered support tools. We now are going to be adding a disputes help center within Merchant Portal. We are building a user guide as well, and that will be available to you. And then you're still going to have the same support tools that you have within Merchant Portal today. So that is location management, user management, you forgot your passwords, all those things that you do today. And then from an integrated experience, we have the single sign-on capability that allows you to see all of your information in one portal. We also have dispute reporting. So you should be familiar with the adjusted disputes report. And you also have a report called received disputes. We basically took that report and broke it out into chargeback received and retrieval received reports. So same information, just broke it into two. So there's a total of 3 reports. We'll talk a little bit about reports as well towards the end. And then, of course, you've got your dispute tool that you can manage and respond to cases, easy to use interface, and then you can access through Merchant Portal via the application drawer. So let's talk about the dispute dashboard. I mentioned this early on as one of the new features that we've added to the tool. This is going to be a default. This will load every time you log into the application. However, you don't have to wait for it. You can actually go right to queues if you choose to do so. Really what this is doing is providing you daily insight into dispute data at a very high level. You'll see that you have graphical representation of the dispute data by top reason codes, issuer by bins, and a breakdown of your disputes by card brand and more. So you'll be able to hover over this information at each data point to see the data associated to, for instance, top 5 issuers by bin. So this gives you insight in terms of where your chargebacks are coming from and what bin they're coming from. So maybe there's an issue there. Maybe there's something going on with that particular issuer or bin. You'll also see a dispute comparison showing your chargebacks versus retrievals and everything else, what I refer to as your exception items. You'll have a pie chart for your breakdown by the card brand, and then, of course, your top 5 reason codes. So again, really just a snapshot of your data at your fingertips. Again, if you choose not to view the dashboard, you just click on the queues and you can see your cases right away. So we talked a little bit about the My Work queue, and this is really an area that is going to be very important to help you organize and manage and respond to your disputes. We talked about, the My Work queue, which contains all the cases that you need to action. So we're really helping you organize and segregate the cases that we need you to take a look at when you initially, log in. There's no more guessing about what to do next. I know that from a SDM perspective, I think from the search functionality, it's hard to see in terms of what you need to do next. And versus searching on a case, which case to action, and we've put them all in one queue. This is some of the feedback that we received, that it was really not clear in terms of what you needed to do with your cases, the when and the why, and why you got this particular dispute. In addition, as I spoke about, it contains really important information such as the case status and the case due date. You can also take actions from this queue, which we refer to as the quick action button, along with features that you're familiar with from Merchant Portal, such as the column manager and filters. So we'll discuss the actions further in the presentation, but I wanted to call out here that you'll see that you've got some action button here that you can actually take actions on the cases, and then you'll see that you can filter and you can add and remove columns and export the data. And again, we also have the new case status of request more information. And again, this status means that you've previously actioned a case, and we either need additional information to support that case, or it could be that the documentation upload may be ineligible. The status may also contain case notes from the analyst on what's needed next. The other important area here is what we refer to as queues. So you'll see in this section here, we have queues. So we have something called the close queue, which contains all cases that have closed or expired. You're able to click on that queue and see all those cases. We also have pending chargebacks and pending retrievals. And those are all retrievals and chargebacks that you've actioned and have been forwarded to our dispute analyst for review and next steps. And we also have pending exceptions. So if you do have exceptions, so that could be an incoming pre-arbitration, an arbitration, compliance, you'll see those items in your pending exceptions once you take an action. So really the My Work Queue is where you're going to spend most of your time for viewing and managing and responding to your cases. So now let's talk about the case detail landing page. So this is where you are able to open a case from the My Work Queue and see all of the case details and drill down into additional information about the case. You'll find 3 overview sections that provide additional details about the dispute, the transaction, the dispute, the transaction, and related transaction flow. And this area provides you a high-level view of the life cycle of the transaction. There is also View More Detail tab that provides even more insight to the case to help make you make better business decisions on actioning the case. So again, we've got 3 overview sections here: dispute, transaction, and related transaction flow, and provides you more insight to the case itself. You're also able to take actions from this screen as well. So you'll see here there's a Take Action button. So you can also take actions from the My Work Queue, but you can also take actions here if you go to the case detail landing page for more information. So customize your queues. So again, this should be very familiar to you, similar to Merchant Portal functionality. The Dispute tool offers you the ability to customize all your queues. So you can use the column feature to pick columns to hide or show on your specific queue listing. Available columns are all of the data columns that can be added to the queue, and the active columns are all data columns that are currently displayed as a default. So to add data, you click on the plus icon, and to remove, you click on the X icon, and your preferences will remain upon the next login. You'll also notice that it's the same feature and function as Merchant Portal, but you're able to see just dispute data. So some of the data is similar that you see in Merchant Portal on the screens there, but you'll also notice that some of the information is more specific to disputes. So again, same features, functions, but you're able to customize all of your queues within the dispute management tool that is helpful to you. It will default into the 9 columns that I went through earlier on, but you can obviously change those columns, add or remove the columns. In addition, in the columns, you can also expand and collapse some of the columns. If you want to push something out, you can do that. If you want to push something in, you have the ability to do that as well. So case search, we offer 2 different kinds of case search functions. We have a general search, which is really over on the left-hand side, and that's really when you have information. So you have the card type, you have the reason code, you have the merchant number. You're able to do a general search. So you would type you would search directly for that information, which allows you to narrow your search, or you can do a wildcard search, which is at the top of the screen, to support any case lookups with limited data. For a wildcard search, you can use an asterisk at the end of the data string to search. However, and then you would just hit enter. However, if you do know that you're searching for a case, or you do know that you're searching for something in a merchant number or an account number or an ARN, there will be a drop-down to support narrowing the search. So we can certainly do a wildcard, but you can also do a search at the top of the screen and select a drop-down if you have any idea in terms of really where you want to narrow that search in terms of looking for something. So that's just a little bit of a feature that I wanted to share with you in regards to search. So 2 searches, general search, if you have information that you already know that you want to search on, and then we have a wildcard search, which is available for you at the top. So bookmark cases. You'll also notice that we have on the left-hand side of the screen the ability to bookmark cases. So what this is doing is temporarily saving a particular case, and it will also move to the dedicated queue called My Bookmark Case Queues. So that's going to be visible to you in the queue section. It's going to be when you hit this drop down here under the My Work queue. Any case that you bookmark will be in that queue. So what this does for you is really just help you organize, or maybe this is a case that you need to go back to, so that you can go back to it and support further research, maybe outside of the dispute tool, or saves it so you can review the case with others in your organization. You can navigate away to work on a different case and then come back to it when you're ready. This will stay as a bookmark case until you uncheck the bookmark, and will not be removed from the queue until you remove it as a bookmark case. So next I want to talk about the probability score. So the probability score is really something that is brand new, that we're very excited about in terms of helping you support processing and efficiency of your cases. So what we've done is we've done it in 3 levels. So there's green, which obviously means you have a higher probability that you'll win the case. We have yellow, which you proceed with caution. You have a 50-50 chance to win the case. And then red is a low probability that you will win the case. So the score is based on a look-back period of 3 years using your dispute data and machine learning algorithms to support the percentage. We have many, many data elements that are used in the algorithm to determine the score, which helps you with your win versus loss scenario. The other information that we want you to understand as well is that even though we're doing a look back of 3 years and looking at your data, we're also comparing it across the board. So we're comparing it against our portfolio. So it has to really do with reason codes and a lot of other detail that's associated to whether you would win or lose the case. So we're pretty confident in our scoring, but although we can't say for sure that you'll win a case with a higher probability score or lose a case, we are only providing you with a potential outcome. So the scoring can help with case processing and, of course, prioritizing your work. So again, we are doing a look-back period of 3 years. We're looking at your data as well as all of the other data that we have in our different databases and providing you a score. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try if, in fact, you feel strongly about something with a lower probability score, because you could potentially win that case. So we just wanted to make that clear. This is really just helping you with the potential outcome. So now let's move into take actions, and I'm going to start with retrievals. There are 2 ways you can take an action on a retrieval case. So you can do it from the My Work queue, which is on the left-hand side of the screen. So you can use the quick action button, as discussed earlier, to fulfill or unable to fulfill a request. But you can also open the case, which would bring you to the case detail landing page, or you can view more details, which is a slide-out panel that will give you more information about the case. So the My Work queue allows you to take actions or open the case for further research and view more details about the dispute. If you choose to open the case for further research, you will then move to the case detail landing page, which is the screenshot on the left, which also allows you to take an action on a retrieval. So again, you can fulfill a retrieval request or unable to fulfill a request on the My Work queue, which is your default queue with a quick action button, or you can drill deeper into the case and still take an action from that detailed page. So we offer two areas. For a quicker response, you can use the My Work queue quick action button, or maybe you need more information or you need to see more detail, then you can click in to the case detail page and take the action there once you've researched the case. And now just moving into chargebacks, same idea. You have the ability to take an action from the My Work queue that you can accept or challenge. You can open a case or view more details for a chargeback. If you have to open the case and go in deeper into the case itself to look at more information, or you need to do more research, you can definitely take an action from that area as well. So the idea here is really just to let you know. In some cases, you can take an action right away from the My Work queue if you know what it is, you know what you need to do, you're familiar with the reason code, you're familiar with what you have to upload for documentation, you can do it right from that screen. If you want to go deeper into the case, you can certainly do it from the case details page. So next we have upload documents. So once you decide that you're going to challenge a case or you're going to fulfill a retrieval, you have to upload documents. So what's going to happen is you're going to be asked to upload the documents, and this again should be familiar with you as this is required in SDM. But you can drag and drop documents, or you can upload documents from your browser, right from your computer. So there are 3 steps when to actioning a case. So the first step, of course, is to upload the supporting docs. You will be able to add more than one document to the retrieval and a chargeback. Today in SDM, you can only upload one document in support of a retrieval, but you can upload as many documents as you like. However, please note that as part of the CARB-RIN regulations, we are somewhat limited to the amount of documentation and images we can send over on your behalf. So please ensure that you limited the number and size of your documentation and only send relevant information first. The second step, you'll be asked to leave case notes. So this is optional for you. You don't have to leave a case note, but you can. But that would be the step 2. If you choose not to leave a case note, you can just continue. Your case notes will only be visible to the dispute analyst, and you can also read any additional information that they might have shared with you as well, as we talked about in the request for information. And another note is your notes or your case notes will not be sent to the issuer. And then the third step is to accept liability and submit. So this process hasn't changed. It's the same as SDM. So on the third step, you're going to see a disclaimer associated to the action that you're taking, and you just need to accept that and hit submit for us to get the case over on our side. So something that's brand new is the case timeline. So this is a new feature of the disputes tool. So you'll be able to track the history of your case through its life cycle. You'll be able to see when the case was created, all newly received documents from the issuers, or updates from our internal team. You'll also be able to see all your actions as well. So anything that you do to the case will be tracked here in the timeline. You'll also, if you've challenged a chargeback and uploaded supporting docs for a retrieval or uploaded a receipt, you'll be able to see this information. It's only going to be available to you, but you'll also be able to see case notes from yourself and responses from the dispute analyst. So just a neat feature for you to see the progression of a case and what's happening with the case and maybe what's happened to the case from the beginning. So it really just gives you a lot of information in there. You're also going to be able to see the merchant advice, which is a letter that you'll be able to see. I don't know if you'll need to open it because we do provide the message to you in the timeline, but you are able to open that just to see the information if you choose to do so. But the notification really contains all the information that you would see in the case. So reason code, transaction amount, dispute amount, and any message related or description related to the reason code. It's there for your reference. The other thing I wanted to call out is we refer to these as cards. So every time something has changed the case, we're going to refer to it as a card. So you'll be able to see the progression of the case. We also have something called filtering over on the left-hand side. So you'll be able to filter out documentations, be it merchant device, the card brand documentation, and also sort it from oldest to newest. The next thing here is the Reason Code Advisor. So the Reason Code Advisor is really a fantastic feature that really supports you with case processing. So you'll be able to click on the question icon that's next to the reason code and actually open up the advisor. So this is going to answer questions of why did I get the dispute, what caused the dispute, how should I respond, and how can I prevent it. So it's really just giving you some best practice on what you need to do. This information is coming directly from the card brands. So there's nothing here that is subjective. It's actually providing you insight to what the card brands are telling you that you need to do to help prevent a dispute in the future. The other thing is when you do hover over the reason code, you will also see the short description. So in this example, you're seeing reason code 4808, authorization related chargeback. So you'll see that short description if you hover. If you click on the icon, it's going to open up the advisor. But again, it just provides you deeper insight into the card brand requirements, along with your best practices on resolving and preventing the dispute in the future. So moving on to the Help Center, we talked a little bit about this in the beginning. So the Help Center is going to give you information about disputes. So it's going to provide you assistance with terminology. There'll be a reason code glossary. It will have definitions on the reason codes. We will also have a Q&A on how to use the new dispute tool. There'll also be a merchant guide to support your step-by-step instructions. So we'll be sharing that as well. So again, you will access this through Merchant Portal. And we're looking also to put a link inside the disputes application tool so you can click over there right away. So now let's move on to dispute reporting. So I know this is important to everybody. So for dispute reporting, as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 reports. You're familiar with the adjusted dispute report, but the disputes received report, which are the 2 reports that are visible today, you're actually going to see 2 new reports. It's going to be retrievals received and chargebacks received. So all we did was we took that second report and we broke it up into 2. So retrievals received and chargebacks received, you'll be able to see just your retrievals and just your chargebacks on separate reports. And they will have all the available filters and columns as you see today on the received disputes report, which is the report that we broke up, and then the adjusted disputes report. So an important note, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, all cases in flight will remain in FDM. However, your reports will reflect cases from both applications. So the information that will be reflected on the report is dependent on your date range and other filtering that you may apply to the screen. So it's important to note that even though you'll be finishing out cases that are in flight in SDM, on your migration date, all your new cases will be moving to disputes management. But your report will contain all of your dispute data. And also, when you're doing any filtering or you're entering any date ranges, you'll need to keep that in mind in case you see something in one area in one application versus the other. But your reporting will contain all of the cases for both SDM and the new dispute management tool. And here I just wanted to call out for those that are the acquirer administrator or the acquirer user role. So if you have this role, your access is going to be a little different. You won't see the dashboard upon entering the disputes tool. You will need to perform a case search with the hierarchy selector, and this is similar to what you have in SDM today. Or once you enter search criteria, you will then see the My Work queue. So the only difference here is if you have this particular role, you're going to either search on a particular data element that you have, whether it's a case number, a case type, or you're going to have to use the hierarchy selector or the merchant ID number, which would be the MID. But once you do that, you're going to be able to see the rest of the tools. So you'll see the My Work queue populated with cases, and you'll be able to do everything else that we've talked about in the presentation today. So user management. So a couple of changes here for those of you who have the role as the account admin or the acquire admin role. We've updated the roles and permissions for the new dispute tool. So you'll now be able to add and remove user functions based on permissions. And this will support security and PCI requirements within your organization. So you're not just giving a user access to every single permission that's available in the tool. You can actually pick permissions and set up particular roles and give them the level of permissions that you want for the tool. And again, for migration, we're going to take care of that for you. So essentially, we're going to take your existing roles and we're going to migrate everybody in your organization to support your current access and also to support a smooth transition into the new tool. So again, dispute management migration, I just wanted to reiterate that as I close the webinar out today, the migration process, let's talk about that again. So as this will be important to understand which tool you will have current and new cases as we transition into the dispute management tool. So for Smart Dispute Manager, you'll have all current in-flight cases and will remain until they're closed. For the dispute management tool, you'll have all new cases that will be available for review and action on the date of your migration. There will be two icons present, one for SDM and one for the dispute management tool once you've migrated. It's important to remember that we will be sending you an email when your company has migrated to the new tool. Our migration will begin on Tuesday, August 18th, and will be completed within 5 to 6 business days. You will receive an email when your account has been fully migrated. So I just wanted to go over that again. Once you've migrated, you will see two icons, Dispute Management and SDM. Once you navigate to the application drawer after logging into Merchant Portal, once you've migrated, you'll see the two icons. If you haven't migrated yet, you're just going to see the disputes icon, and that will be SDM. You won't see the new SDM icon. So again, just calling that out as we close the webinar today. And I really just want to thank everybody for attending, and I hope that you find the new dispute tool as user-friendly and supports all your dispute processing needs. We're very excited about the tool, and we hope that you will be as well. We find the feedback has been very good, and it seems to be something that folks are liking, and simpler, efficient. It streamlines the case flow process and so on. And again, as a reminder, we'll begin migration on the 18th of August, and it will take us 5 to 6 business days, and you will receive an email when your account has been fully migrated. Thank you all very much. We are just about out of time. It's 11 o'clock, so thank you again. And of course, if you have questions, hopefully you've been sending them through the Q&A, the Q&A panel, and we will share all the updates with you in the coming days. Thank you so much.